Have you ever wondered when you'll stop translating every single damn word of your target language in your head and start thinking directly in your target language? C'est quand que je vais commencer a parler como un vrai français. Estos españoles hablan y piensan tan rápido. ¿Cómo lo puedo hacer yo también? Mann, ist Deutsch aber schwer. Und der Satzbau ist einfach ein Albtraum. Thinking directly in any foreign language can be problematic if you do not address it in the right way. But don't worry about a thing, because at the end of the video, you will know exactly how to face it. So, thinking directly in any foreign language is no easy feat, and you can't force it. With the right approach, though, you can make significant progress and start thinking in any language naturally and directly. Here are 3 essential strategies to stop translating in your head and finally think directly in your target language. Let's dive right in. Smart language strategy number 1. Do not learn a language, acquire it. Let's imagine that you've been learning Italian, la mia bella lingua madre, for a little bit. In that case, I'm sure you will want to think and speak directly in Italiano as soon as possible. What's the fastest way to get there? Well, get this. Thinking and then speaking directly in Italian comes from having Italian inside you. And no, I don't mean having a nice carbonara floating in your stomach. I am referring to the structure of Italian, its grammar, its melodia in your brain. Let me tell you how I myself have achieved this with the language I am currently speaking in this very same video. When I started speaking English, I struggled for 2 long years, constantly translating in my head. When it was time for me to speak, I struggled massively. My English tutor would go like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And me, I would think for 3 damn seconds before replying to my tutor, come sto? How am I? Bene, ma oggi sono stanco. I'm good, but I'm tired today. I thought all of this was normal and that things would change with time and practice. I kept telling myself, don't worry, man. Sooner or later, you will start thinking directly in English. It's scary to think about it, but the truth is, if I had continued doing what I was doing, which I had learned in school, I would have probably never, ever spoken English fluently. What was the game changer for me? Well, in a word, this charming, beautiful lady from Chicago named Susan, my American tutor, with whom I started learning English at the ripe age of 12. Susan figured out pretty quickly what the problem was. Instead of trying to force conversations on me or do some boring grammar exercises, she suggested shifting from output to input. Here's what we did. For the first few months, instead of speaking, we would go together through text she prepared for me, and she encouraged me to read a lot and watch movies between one lesson and the next. The thing I loved the most was to go through the movie of the week. Every day I would watch a chunk of it with subtitles, and I would jot down words and expressions I did not know and which I found interesting. Un film al giorno toglie il professore di torno. One movie a day will keep the language teacher away. After only a few months of this glorious routine, I started thinking and speaking English. Magic? Nope. I'd rather say common sense. What's a catch here? Well, I simply stopped learning English and I started acquiring it. It seems like a minor difference, but it's not. Learning English means trying to deliberately and consciously force the language in you by trying to do things that your brain is not ready for, such as using flashcards, resorting to constant and boring repetition, or trying to hold conversations when words just won't come. You think, I'm going to put in the work and it's gonna happen. But your brain is in no obligation to follow the language ordeal you subject it to. Language learning actually happens at a subconscious level, known as acquiring a language. Acquiring is fundamentally simpler. It means getting the language in you by consuming comprehensible and interesting content. Yes, as simple as that. In a matter of a few months, I had the language in me and I started speaking it without translating everything in my head. This seems obvious, but nowadays it's actually counterintuitive because they teach us to study, practice, and then get that damn language out. Ideally, 80%, if not even 90% of your learning should be acquisition, and 10 to 20% should be deliberate learning. Unfortunately, most people do exactly the opposite. Here's my piece of advice. Consume content you find interesting and comprehensible, also called acquisition-rich, every single day. If you're a beginner, use simple dialogues from resources like Assimil or Teach Yourself or our very same course, Smart Italian, info in the description box if you're learning Italian, of course. For intermediate learners, Aim for podcasts and videos that have transcriptions and subtitles. In this regard, resources like Link or Lingopie are also phenomenal, because both are platforms that allow you to consume material in the format of podcasts, text and transcriptions for Link, and in the form of short videos, TV series, and movies in the case of Lingopie. Remember, consume, and still consume interesting stuff in your target language. This is the absolute base to start from. Smart language strategy number 2, learn to think in keywords, aka embrace your inner Tarzan. 2 years ago, I was at Termini Station, the central station of Rome, waiting for my train to go to Florence. Suddenly, a lady approached me and said in broken Italian, Treno Venezia? Train Venice? The language snob in me thought, pessimo italiano, terrible Italian. But come to think of it, she actually did a fantastic job. She got her point across with a few simple words, and she had the guts to actually say them. Some wise men once said that in order to do something well, you first have to do it poorly. Here's another way to put this. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting next to a very cute girl or a very handsome guy at some language exchange event. You really want to get to talk to this person. If you say something to him or to her, there is an actual chance that the two of you will connect. If you don't say anything for fear of being rejected, nothing's going to happen. A similar thing happens to the average language learner who prefers not saying anything because it looks complicated, rather than saying something, anything, to get a conversation going. You have to give up on the idea of sounding and looking great for the benefit of actually learning, getting your point across, and actually connecting. If you want to start thinking in your target language, you have to question your attitude of wanting to sound perfect, of wanting to express yourself with perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, or a perfect accent. You have to let go of the perfectionist in you that was created by society. You're much better than that. Train your mind to think in terms of the key words that convey the meaning you want to get across. Yes, embrace your inner Tarzan. It's about communication, not perfection. Our Speakeasy course motto at the Smart Language Learning Academy is COP, communication over performance. For example, if you're in Venice and you're trying to talk to your Italian friend and you want to say, I want to go to see the cathedral, you can just simply say, Io andare vedere cattedrale. I go see cathedral. Start simple, focus on the essential, and aim at smooth communication. You can add more complexity to your sentences with time and experience. Smart language strategy number 3. Writing helps thinking. In 2018, I was scanning for books at Feltrinelli, my favorite bookshop in Rome. Probably for the first time, I got out of the place not with a stack of books, but with 10 tiny, great-looking notebooks I had randomly come across. Perfect for starting some serious writing. And that's what I immediately started doing with a language I was actively learning at the time, Ellinica, Greek. Here's what I did. I realized that instead of writing long sentences, it was better to jot down just a few simple words that conveyed the meaning of those sentences. Just to give you a very simple example, I would write these 3 simple words on my notebook. I Maria, pieno, I go to go, Romi, Rome. And then I would start forming sentences such as I Maria pieni sti Romi. Maria goes to Rome. I Maria pije sti Romi. Maria went to Rome. I Maria de pije sti Romi. Maria did not go to Rome. This allows for a lot of language flexibility. Think about it. If you write or transcribe long and complete sentences, you end up just reading them. But if you write just key words, then you'll be compelled to fill in the blanks, so to speak, to connect the dots, to form your own sentences. It's a simple but powerful idea. An idea I loved from the very beginning, and I got to implement every single day. I started experimenting with short sentences first, and then, with time and more experience, I started forming entire mini speeches using these words. To make a long story short, I started connecting handwriting with self-speaking, and the connecting glue was keywords in my target language. Writing, thinking, and speaking, all in one shot and wrapped in a simple 3-word package. This literally skyrocketed my capacity to think and speak directly in Ellinica. Una vera e propria bomba linguistica in senso buono, ovviamente. So here's a practical language idea you might want to try yourself today, immediately after watching this video. Go grab a portable analog device. It can be a notebook, but also a piece of paper will do if you don't have a notebook right now. Write 10 simple lines made of 3 key simple keywords. You can either extract these keywords from language content you have been using, dialogues, videos, podcasts, or you can come up with your own keywords, vocabulary that you find likely to use in possible conversations with a tutor, a partner, or a friend. For each 3-word line, try to come up with a few variations of the same sentence. Experiment with some of that for a few days. Go crazy. If you like it, and I truly hope you do, because trust me, it's fun, the next step is to get into the habit of doing it 5 to 10 minutes a day. You will see how fast you're going to start thinking and speaking in your target language. There you have it, my lovely language learner. Consume great content to get your target language in you. Rely on keywords and connect everything through simple writing on a portable notebook. Follow these 3 simple strategies, stick to them for a little while, and I guarantee you, in no time, you will be thinking and speaking in Italiano, Deutsch, Zhongwen, Espanol, and any other language you want. Well, language magic is going to happen. On a final note, if you're stuck with too much translation, if words just won't come, and you really, really want to speak your target language fluently, once and for all, please check out my Speakeasy course. This course will teach you everything you need to know about getting to start speaking any target language. And if you follow the course every single day, you will go through a language transformation like you've never seen before in only 12 days. All the info in the description box and in the comment section below. And with that, we're done for the day. Hasta la próxima, and as always, happy language learning.